Okay, in this video we're going to make the Santa layer. So Santa with his reindeer, we're going to make him travel across the sky. Now we could do it in the same way, where we start off in one position like that, and we several seconds later have them move into a new position and do exactly the same thing as we did with the witch. I'll just turn the witch layer off so that doesn't get in the way. So you can see as we move around like that, but unfortunately it just doesn't look right, does it? Because Santa has obviously got his reindeer here, and it feels a little bit more like they should be bending and sort of going through the air. That's in a bit more of a similar sort of shape to this, in a kind of curved way. Because this obviously just looks very sort of static and a bit silly. So there are a couple of things that we can do to this to make that happen. The first thing that we're going to do is use the pen tool up here to draw a line that we're going to have Santa and the reindeer to follow. This is called a motion path. The other thing we're going to do will be to use this tool here, the puppet pins, which are very clever indeed and allow us to place pins along our image, so a still image, and that will actually allow us to sort of make that image bend and move in a way that, you know, the still image doesn't. Basically each of these yellow circles, which represents a pin, will follow the line that we create. So I'll just remove those and we'll begin with the line. So on the Santa layer we're going to use the pen tool and we're going to draw our lines. We'll start back here somewhere, perhaps come in like that, across the moon and off the other side. Now you can just use the handles here to adjust these curves if you want to, and this can be as curvy or as straight as you like, but obviously, you know, we want a few lumps and bumps so that it gives the effect that we're after. Okay. What we're going to do is use this line and we're going to actually sort of cut its information out and paste it on the position of the puppet pins. So, using the normal selection tool, we click on our line, and here in masks we should be able to keep clicking these little arrows until we get to mask path. There it is, and we press edit and cut. There we go. So we've cut that line out and you can see that masks has disappeared now. Now we're going to add our puppet pins. So we've still got the line attached to the clipboard, so that's alright. Click on puppet pin here and we're going to just place one on Santa there, and 1, 2, 3 along the reindeer like that. So just click where you want them. We could do lots of puppet pins to make it very sort of smooth and realistic, but I think for the purposes of this, these 4 will be fine. So once we've added them, we can actually see down here that we've now got effects as well as transform. I'll just hide the transform for a moment. Effects, and we've got this puppet effect. Down here we've got mesh 1 because it's just one single image that we've attached these pins to, and underneath that we've got deform, and we can see our 4 pins, and if we highlight them here you'll see that over here they get highlighted in yellow. I'll just zoom in a little bit. There we go. So we can see that the 4th pin is the one at the far end and the first one is the one on Santa. Okay. If we select these 4 layers by clicking on one, holding shift and clicking on another, we can open them up all at once by clicking on this little thing here, and you can see that it's actually already added keyframes in for us. We can actually click on each layer here and paste in, so I'm just pressing Command and V or Control and V. There we go, and as we go on you could see Santa getting more and more deformed there. So at the moment they're all following the path at the same time in a big sort of lump. And not only that, the path has sort of moved a bit as well. So what we'll do is click and drag over all these anchor points here, and we'll just move them up a bit like that. Hopefully that will have worked. Okay. So we get a sense of the motion. We'll just go here and we'll just move that up a bit. Okay. Or maybe not, maybe down a little bit. There we go. Okay. So I'm kind of happy with the placement of that. However, we can see that they're all lumped on top of each other, and it's not really what we want. So, layer by layer, I'm going to have a look at these, and in fact we need to move that back a bit as well, so we start off the screen. And it is difficult because we've got multiple layers selected, we can't see our path, but as soon as we just look at one, we can get an idea of how that is, so there we go. So let's move our playhead into the middle there. Get Santa where we want him. So what we need to do is actually modify our keyframe. So if we select puppet pins 3 to 1, so all of these keyframes like that, so drag and select over those like that, and as we move them back, you can just see them start to come away from this 4th pin here, so we can see those reindeers quite clearly. Now we'll select these next 2 and move them back, not far, not very far at all, like that, and we'll do it with the Santa layer as well. There we go. So now we can see that it doesn't look too dissimilar from our original image, but as it moves along the line, it bends and follows it, which is what we're after. So we can RAM preview that. So perhaps in an ideal world, we could have the width going as well, but you know, for the purposes of this, I think we're all right. It seems to be going quite fast, so what can we do? We can stretch these time frames out. I'm going to stretch them out to about 5 seconds, somewhere like that. So this one needs to be a little bit beyond that. I'm not actually doing this very accurately. I think if we had been accurate, we'd have moved them all to 5 seconds initially, and then done that. So there we go. We can see that they've actually got in a bit closer. So we could probably do with just moving these back a smidge. Something like that maybe. There he goes. Okay, so we'll go File and Save, and that is Santa moving as well. Now, obviously at the moment we've got Santa moving initially, but what we do want to do is, so at 5 seconds, Santa's only on screen for 5 seconds, so at 5, maybe just 6 for good measure, we can press Alt and the square, right square bracket, and we can move that so we know that we can turn the witch back on. So we should first be able to see the witch go past, and then Santa, so we can move that along perhaps so that Santa's the comes on a few seconds later from the witch and disappears at the end. Okay, put our window on, we should be able to see that all happen in a RAM preview. You can see how many frames it's rendering here in the RAM preview. Here it's cutting off the end, so actually Santa does go off, but it's limited to a certain amount of seconds here. So if you do want to have a look at Santa, you can make sure that from current time is selected, and here just click RAM preview from there. It should be a bit quicker because you can see now it's only going to render 200 odd frames. It'll give us a sense of what Santa looks like through the window. Okay. So we go File and Save.